Peace. What's good? How y'all doing? This is ZaZa Ali. Today is Monday, June 5th, 2023. I pray that this message reaches you all in the best of health, spirit, and mind. I'm doing very well. I wanted to do this video for several reasons. First, I'm going to put up part of this video on YouTube because I've been getting a lot of messages as of late, messages on my YouTube channel and DMs about, putting up content. Where you at? We need to hear from you. So I definitely want to share part of this message. This is going to be a special episode of Headline News with ZaZa Ali, episode 33. And this specific episode is going to be called Freedom versus Free Will. And when I say this is a special episode, it's because we're at episode 33, and all of these episodes are heavy with content and data and information and just the happenings in the world as they're happening on the ground. And those things are definitely important, but I also think that it's even more important to stop sometimes and sort of give perspective on the news. And so I am going to talk about a few specific stories this week or today, but this is more so going to be a heart-to-heart, soul-to-soul conversation. So those of you guys who see this on YouTube, you want to see the full video, it's going to end up being about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. You can get information on my website, ZaZaAli.com. Some of my content is available on demand. This video will be available on demand. Or you can just sign up for my membership channel and have access to all of my content all of the time. And for those of you guys who have been reaching out, kind of nudging me to put out content, I do put out content all the time. It's just on my membership channel. 3 years of censorship takes its toll. And it has definitely taken a toll on me, on my business. And so I had to pivot and do things that are in my best interest and in the best interest of my business. I'm also, having to be very careful, as many people on social media who actually are, truth seekers and interested in informing the world of the truth. Having to be very careful and tedious about what you say and how you say it, and you can't post certain things. And, they're taking non-controversial YouTube pages down. I saw a post on Instagram recently that one of Abraham Hicks' YouTube video, their YouTube channel was taken down. I think he or she said there was 300,000 or 400,000 subscribers, and they didn't get any notice, and their whole site was just taken down. And the person was obviously very dismayed, and they were deactivating their Instagram account, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm just saying, if you make content, you understand how personal and how important and how special it is, your intellectual property. And to have people, just kind of stiff arming you. I was about to say stiff arming you, and keeping your message from being heard. And I got strikes on my YouTube channel. Like, it's just a lot to this. And so we have to be, one of the things that I'm going to be talking about and emphasizing today. Let me start my calendar so I can make sure I stay on point time-wise. I don't know how long I've been talking, maybe about 5 minutes now, but I'll go ahead and get that started. We have to be very careful who we give access to, in terms of access to our mind, access to our lives, access to our energy, access to our background and our history. We have to be very careful and be very mindful of that in this timeline. And so then, put that in context of the internet, where pretty much everybody, particularly for me, because my pages are public, everybody has access to you. Randoms can come and just drop a mean-spirited, evil-minded comment, or someone who's just hell-bent on disagreeing or misunderstanding you, and that's a part of the microcosm of the macrocosm, in terms of being very careful who we give access to us. So this is a special message, freedom versus free will, specifically for my group members and my membership channel. I really love and appreciate you guys. I have major projects. I've had major projects going on over the past month, including this book, Ancient People, in the print production process, as well as personal, major activities and movements and things, a lot of things happening. The quickening of the spirit is upon us and things are happening in the twinkling of an eye. But I wanted to do a special kind of in-depth, spiritual analysis of some things that are happening in pop culture and just where we are in 2023. Because these are some super critical times. Super critical, super important. We're in some intergalactic, major world, universal laws and just everything, that movie, everything happening all at once. I haven't seen it. I know it got a lot of fanfare, but just the title of it is very, very true right now in this timeline. And so I have a 2 pages of notes. I have a few video clips that I want to play. And then I have several slides with just images that are beautiful to me because, to sort of set the tone in order to make sure I say everything that I want to say. Before I get started, even though I've already been started, because I'm at probably about 5 to 6 or 7 minutes, but that's okay too. I have a couple of announcements to make. I ran a sale maybe about a week ago on YouTube for 50% off an annual membership. And I'm going to extend that sale for the next 24 hours because I know way more people are going to actually see this video than people who saw the post that I put up on my community page on YouTube. So there's going to be a link in the description to say 50% off of my annual membership channel. That's basically about $11 a month. I'm offering that specifically for my YouTube followers because I know I haven't been putting up a lot of content as of late, and I've been getting your messages, and I know you guys are missing my content. So I am, going out on a limb and providing extra savings for the next 24 hours so you can have access to that. Second, I have been sending out notices in my email list that I am discontinuing one-on-one consultations as of the end of July 2023. I will no longer be offering one-on-one consultations. So if you have ever been interested or are interested in working with me in a one-on-one capacity, maybe something you're struggling with, maybe a health condition, something you want to get my perspective on, maybe there's a blockage or lack-based consciousness somewhere that you want to clear up. I've been doing this for 7 years consistently now, and I'm very good at helping people get clarity. One of the, so every month up until the end of July, I'm offering specials, incentives, to promote the one-on-one consultations while they're still available. I had 5, I have 4 spaces now I'm doing a special call 5 for 5 consultations where you can sign up for 5 meetings with me. They'll be good until the end of December of 2023. 5 consultations for $100 per consultation. So that's why I call it 5 for 5, 5 consultations for $500. You can pay in 1 payment or 2 payments of $275. And again, you'll have access to those consultations all throughout anywhere, anytime on my calendar up until December 2023. And if you are in a space where you are striving to be better, do better, feel better, live better, and you might need a sounding board or some assistance with that, these are, extreme savings on my one-on-one consultations. And again, as of the end of July 2023, I will no longer be doing one-on-one consultations. So this might be something, even if you worked with me before, that you want to take advantage of. What else was I going to? This message will be available. The full video will be available on demand, portion on YouTube. Make sure you sign up for my email list because I do a lot of, sharing and communicating and updating with the people on my email list. I'm definitely going to be more focused on my email list and the people who actually are members or at least on my email list to stay abreast with what I have going on. I will post that link as well. And last but certainly not least, I am having a brunch in Los Angeles at a beautiful local community loved and favored brunch, or brunch, not a brunch, a cafe in LA. Once you buy a ticket, that information will be disclosed to you. But it's going to be a brunch and I'm going to speak briefly. It'll be a meeting of the minds. It's going to be a dope vibe. And then we're going to also have a guided meditation by yours truly, with some sound healing music frequencies in the background, just shifting around the type of events that I'm doing, adding a little bit more, soul consciousness, soul awareness, and meditative practices, into these events. I have 14 tickets remaining. We had 20. I, put the information out on my email list as well as on my membership channel. So now we have 14 tickets available. So if you're interested, I will post the link for that as well. That'll be Sunday, July 9th in Los Angeles, California. Limited tickets available, and I will be speaking publicly in a very, very limited capacity moving forward, especially at the end of 2023. So I'm just saying, guys, you got to appreciate the ones that are among you that have been, rallying for you and working for you and researching for you and teaching and reaching for you. I've been doing this for you guys for a long time now, but like I said, the censorship takes its toll, and then you get censored, and then you can't get the people to rally behind you and support you to kind of get the foot off your neck, so to speak. So yeah, those things are, they're tiring and consuming to the spirit. So we're switching things up now. We're doing things that are reciprocal, that are good for me as well as they're good for you. And it all works out. So I'll put the links for all of those things in the description. And again, much love to all my beautiful membership channel members. I renamed it ZaZa Ali Membership Cipher. Thank you guys for your patience with me, for supporting with me, and for rocking with me. I have a lot of wonderful things to discuss today. It's been a culmination of things that we've talked about in headline news episodes, as well as some of the content I've been wanting to get around to, but I just haven't been able to, sit down, put my feet on the ground and just hone in and zone in on these videos, because this book is it's everything, and is, such a great learning curve. And it's 305 pages now, so we had to do a remix on the binder in order to make sure, specifically the hardcover book, that the binding is strong and sufficient in order to be able to maintain 305 pages. So it's a work in progress, but it's in the print production process. So thank you guys for your patience with me in terms of that as well. And with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and get into this conversation. This is a special episode. Like I said, where's my mouse? Okay, there we go. So this is a headline news special titled Freedom versus Free Will. One of the things I'm going to be emphasizing today is the synthetic hive mind, and that language and that title came up recently. I was having a conversation with a friend, and I referenced the synthetic hive mind, and she asked me, what does that mean? And so I gave her a response in that moment, and thought about it later on after the conversation was over, and was like, this will be a great point of emphasis to talk about in this video, because the synthetic hive mind is alive and is expanding continuously, and artificial intelligence is playing a major role in that. But artificial intelligence is parasitic in nature, meaning that it has to have a host in order to live. So we'll get into that more. People are no longer captivated by the mind of God, and by nature, and by the life experience. That's why the synthetic hive mind is so captivating. That's why artificial intelligence is so captivating, because you haven't paid attention to nature. And you haven't paid attention to the brilliance and abundance that is expected for and of all of us during this timeline. You haven't been paying attention to how powerful and amazing the physical body is, and the brain is, the life experience. We haven't been paying attention. So yes, artificial intelligence is attractive to the synthetic hive mind. I'm gonna do a real full, deep, in-depth analysis about this and its connection to the white lines in the sky, and its connection to the technology they put in people's bodies over the last 3 years, and it's connected to the predicting of weather patterns and storms in order to cultivate weather patterns and storms. It's connected to the genetically modified food systems, the cell phone towers, the LED lights, et cetera, et cetera. It's all connected, it's all relative. So how could artificial intelligence be trending in terms of the wonderful things that it can present to humanity, but the other aspect of it is being completely ignored because we're out of balance? And as I've continued to say, the balance of indulgence and discipline is critical. And because we've lost sight of that, this is why everything is so topsy-turvy right now. Discipline is like a curse word in this society. Indulgence is, the free-for-all. But when you have both, then now we're starting to walk into the path of alignment. In the recent video movie that came out June 3rd, yesterday actually, towards the end of the video, or at some point in the video, he asked the question, I think the main guy who I can't remember which character it was because I have to go back and rewatch it again, but the question is asked, what matters most to you? And when he was asked that question, I took it as it was being asked of me, what matters most to you? And so I, rumbled it around in my head, and the natural, sort of knee-jerk reactions came up. My son, obviously, being a good person, contributing something of value to the world. But then immediately all of those were replaced with the word alignment. What matters most to me? Alignment. Because if I'm aligned, then my son is naturally going to be taken care of, and I'm naturally going to be contributing to the love frequency and naturally elevating the frequency of the planet, which impacts humanity, which impacts the ecosystem, which impacts nature, which has to have a universal effect because the earth is a part of the universe. Whether you think it's flat or it's round, it's still a part of the universe. And by the way, that whole conversation and argument that continues to go on is a program in and of itself, whether you think it's round or flat. Because we have people that are doing major deep dives and analysis and research and perhaps great minds. There's a lot of other places where that ingenuity and that thinking outside the box and that research and that, passion, particularly in terms of men, there's a lot of other places where we could use that energy. I'm just saying. So what matters most to me is alignment. And I want you to ask yourself that question, what matters most to you? I had a list of things that I was going to talk about in episode 33, Kanye West and Jamie Foxx, which we're going to talk about both of those, as well as Damson Idris, Calling on the Devil. I wanted to do a special, I wanted to highlight the Texas girls who all, quote unquote, drowned in a pool. Their mother spoke out. The Supreme Court has basically put forward the Supreme Court is no longer backing the Clean Water Act, which was to protect waterways from pollution. In Missouri, this Black nun, N-U-N, her body has barely decomposed since 2019, and these people are basically worshiping her in the name of Catholicism, by the way. Niagara Falls hotels is being inundated with migrants. We've been talking about that in headline news. The fake explosion and the $100+ billion loss in terms of the stock market. What's the status of that now? You notice how they put these grand stories and events happen one day, and then 2-3 days later, you don't hear about it anymore. There's no follow-up. Well, if if artificial intelligence created a picture of an explosion at the Pentagon, and it was supposedly, allegedly put on a Russian website. They always use Russia as the bad guy. This also shows a major chink in the United States armor. If Russia can use artificial intelligence to create a picture, post it online, and then sink your entire trade system and stock market, not the entire, but has 160 or $100+ billion effect. Are we really to believe that other countries have that type of power and impact using the most basic digital technology now? And I wanted to talk about that and then juxtapose these major quote unquote wins that have happened in the last couple of days in terms of the stock market, because it's a ping pong ball. One day, oh my God, artificial intelligence is going to take away 300 million jobs or however many 100 million. And then the next day, artificial intelligence is the best thing since sliced bread. One day there's a fake explosion, artificial intelligence puts up, however that came to be. Stock market suffers $100+ billion loss. And then the next day, a company that is Nivea, I think it was, or Nvidia, we talked about this in headline news, the company who started ChatGPT is now had a $200 million valuation overnight. So this is the fork-tongued devil aspect right in front of us every day. Artificial intelligence can help heal the blind, and people who may be paralyzed. Neuralink and artificial intelligence can now potentially help people walk in one breath. And then in the next breath, oh my God, somebody called me and pretended to be my son, said he was kidnapped. I almost had a heart attack. They wanted money using artificial intelligence. So I'm just saying, this is the fork-tongued devil at work here. Why can't we see it? Because we have no spiritual discernment. Novak Djokovic is back in the news. I will talk about this soon, but because part of this is going to be on YouTube, whatever. EU, I'm just telling you guys what my original subjects were. The EU is expecting for everyone to have a digital ID by 2030. There's that date again, 2025 and 2030. Hopefully you guys are in the know. Arizona limits construction around Phoenix due to water supply shortages. CBD-19 lasting damage to the lungs. Climate, shocks are making parts of America uninsurable. California in particular, Allstate just joined with State Farm. They're no longer insuring Californians for homeowners insurance. And there's no real intelligent political, governmental, think tank conversation happening about the potential cataclysmic impact this could have on the insurance industry. Taylor Swift concert causing amnesia. We're going to talk about that. Subway sexual harassment in New York on the subways. I can only imagine. And update on Cop City ATL. We're not going to get most of those things today, but I got you guys upcoming in the next event, or the upcoming episode. But I wanted to again have this conversation about freedom and free will. And I want to try to move quickly because I have a lot to say. I also have some passages from the super beings that I want to read, a specific passage in terms of free will and in terms of elevating the consciousness and the frequency during this timeline. So the synthetic hive mind, when she asked me that, this is not what I said, but when I thought about it later, these are because I challenged myself. Well, what's 5 examples of the synthetic hive mind? First, the BBL culture. I just have to be quiet for a minute and just let that kind of ride. The BBL culture is a perfect example of the synthetic hive mind. And, the beehive and Beyonce would be relative to that because she's really the one who started the BBL culture, even if hers is natural. The bootylicious frequency was really the launching of the BBL culture. Nobody ever really talks about that, but it's true. And you say, oh, well, she's just being, supporting her natural body, et cetera, et cetera. Well, why hasn't she ever come out and said anything about the BBL culture? Has she? I don't know. I'm not a Beyonce fan like that, but I know, everything she says and does is highly exasperated. It makes news. I haven't seen that news. The crate challenge. I'm pretty sure artificial intelligence started the crate challenge. I think somebody, one of the quote unquote powers that be would like start a new challenge to make human beings look even more stupid. And then artificial intelligence hit some keys and came out with the crate challenge. In China, the social credit system. I love how everybody in the world is just acting like, and then the quote unquote learned people in consciousness will talk about the China's advances in technology and how China is doing this in Africa, and like China's the best thing since sliced bread. Like, bruh, China is 100%, particularly their government, serving Satan. And the social credit system is the prime example. We don't even need to go beyond that, although there are plenty of other examples. Now, I've been emphasizing in the headline news specials and in my talks as of late how you're starting to see a lot more Asian faces in terms of the programming, Netflix in particular, in terms of like mainstream movies, right? So there's a reason for that, and it's connected to the Chinese social credit system. They want you to get prepared to being governed the way Chinese people have become accustomed and the way Japanese people have become accustomed to being governed. We should all know that by now, right? We're talking about the synthetic hive mind. If you're not in the synthetic hive mind, then these are things you should be aware of. The knowledge of self comes from seeking knowledge. Where's the seekers? The Oakland Becky fiasco, when the crazy white lady stood outside and kicked up all that dust about the Black people at Lake Merritt who were barbecuing, and I guess she felt like they were too loud. This is what kicked the whole Karen agenda off. So Becky walked so Karen could run. Because that event went trended so tremendously and became like a global phenomenon of mockery and laughing and whatever it was, and she got her just due. But because the collective consciousness honed in so heavily on that one particular situation, and then white people felt some type of way about it, the liberal white people felt some type of way, and then the non-liberal white people felt some type of way, and then Black people felt some type of way. And now we look up and there's the same exact thing happening all over this country. We still don't understand what consciousness creates reality really means. The Tide Pod Challenge. I was in Target yesterday, and a little 6-7-year-old white boy said out loud to his father, because we were close to the aisle where the Tide Pods were, the detergent is. And he said, "I never did the pod challenge, Daddy. I wouldn't do that." And his father said, "Yeah, we don't do those type of things." Like, just, what I mean? I'm listening to this, and it was like, a moment of pride. This child's probably heard his father talking to his mother, or maybe talking to him about not doing this because it's trending. I mean, talk about a synthetic hive mind. Who in their right mind would pop a Tide Pod in their mouth? The worst of Black American culture is having a tremendous impact globally. When I did the Is Hip Hop Under Divine Judgment? And I talked about my brain just went dead. I talked about not trap music, drill music. And it was mind blowing how Chief Keef was like in major fashion, globally recognized magazines, etc., when this dude is literally talking about being a serial killer and killing people in his community and making it fly, according to the people of this world, of course. It was mind-blowing to me, the things that he was actually saying in the song. And then you turn around and have drill music in London, England, and now they got drill rap in London, and the rappers are dying in London now. I mean, are we proud of that? Black women, you got women all over the world risking their lives to get a BBL at this point. Are we proud of that? Because yeah, it started in our culture. That's just a fact. If we can inspire Black women and inspire other races to risk their lives for a BBL, can we inspire them to strive to be intelligent and respected? I don't know. Could we have a different type of conversation at some point? Synthetic hive mind. It's already live and active.
So you walk into an elevator and naturally you turn and face the door, right? It's just what we do without even thinking. Here on Would You Fall For That, we decided we had to pay homage to candid camera.
How this man tries to maintain his individuality.
So right now we are reenacting their famous test of conformity. The elevator experiment. So we found a nice elevator at the Juilliard School and gathered our Would You Fall For That stuff. If we turned to face the back of the elevator, would others follow? All right. In the blue t-shirt, that is Nadia. She is an innocent passerby. Has nothing to do with this. Everybody else in that elevator, they all work for Would You Fall For That. They are all in on the experiment. They are all purposefully facing the wrong way. Nadia is facing the front. You can just see the back of her head wearing the blue t-shirt. That's Nadia. She is facing the front of the elevator like a normal human being. Everybody else is facing the back. We're playing this to you in real time, no editing, as it actually. Okay, floor 2. Rebecca gets off, Emily gets on. She also works for us. We're swapping people in and out to reinforce the behavior. Emily's acting like it's the most normal. Oh, Nadia's turned. Nadia, okay, her bag is slipping off her shoulder. She's nervously playing with it. Nadia is now halfway round. Will she go any further? Emily gets off, Mike gets on. Again, Mike works for the show. Presses his button, faces the back like it's the most normal thing in the world, like he does it every day. Nadia is really feeling the pressure right now.
I'm not going to see anyone else.
Scott's making some small talk.
He was in celebrity rehab, I think.
She's looking towards the back of the elevator because everybody else is. Floor 4. 4th floor, Mike gets off. Lauren gets on. Lauren also works for us. He's in. Oh, and Nadia has gone. The 4th floor, Nadia has turned all the way around. She's looking at the back of the elevator. That is not normal human behavior. Nadia is looking at the back of the elevator purely because everybody else is.
He says that's not normal human behavior, but I think, in today's society, we might want to reconsider that.
You've seen it in real time. Let's play that for you again. Fast forward.
So, a non-player character or non-playable character is any character in a game that is not controlled by a player. The term originated in traditional tabletop role-playing games where it applies to characters controlled by the game master or referee rather than by another player. The example in this video is representative of NPC-like behavior. And it's a perfect example of the behavior of many, dare I say most people in the last 3 years, unable to think for themselves, unable to think outside the box, waiting for instructions on how to live, how to be governed, what to take. Here's what you need to do to travel. Here's what you need to do to work. Here's what you need to do to see your family, as if God didn't give you everything. Waiting to be governed. Won't do anything outside of the normal parameters of what is acceptable. That's what an NPC does. I can't remember the name of the show, and Westworld is a great example of that, but it's a movie on Netflix, I think it was. And the characters in the show basically realized that they were NPC characters at one point. Well, one of the guys realized he was an NPC character, and so um, his whole journey in this movie is to, sort of come into some realization of consciousness. And again, this is them sort of blending the world, the metaverse, artificial intelligence, humanity, transhumanism, you know, technology that they put in people's bodies, right? All of these things are sort of intermingled, smart dust, nanotech, et cetera, et cetera. But it's about keeping people. Well, let's see. I wrote these words down. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, no, 6 C's. Choice, choosing, consent, complacent, compliant, and Christ-like. Choice, choosing, consent, complacent, compliant, Christ-like. For NPCs, choice is not an option. Choosing is not an option. Consent is expected and confirmed. Complacent is expected and confirmed because you can't really do anything outside of what you are expected to do, your role. Compliant is concerned. It's built into the player's programming. Christ-like is not even on the table. I've done videos talking about making a choice and making a decision. That's one thing that I found to be like super critical in the sort of in the intricacies of our lives, and why we get stuck and stagnated, because we're scared to make choices and decisions about relationships, about business, about work, about jobs, about our children, things that make other people uncomfortable, the direction we really want to go, but everybody's going to feel a certain type of way. This is the microcosm of the macrocosm of the spiritual war. Because part of this is about the elite and the powers that be, and the Illuminati versus the illuminated ones, which I am a member. The Illuminati versus the illuminated ones. I'm a member of the latter. Good versus evil, love versus fear, et cetera, et cetera. So AI is attractive in a synthetic hive mind. It's supposed to serve you, but now people are looking in a bunch of different ways, directly and indirectly, for a new God to govern them. And then they present you with a new God. And now all you can talk about is the new God. Your energy is your currency. So the more you focus on it, mining coins and creating characters in fictional worlds, and this isn't an anti-artificial intelligence, rant. But the word tells us everything that we need to know. Artificial, and then intelligence. And it's running parallel with the greatest, satanic trial run. That's a bad word, but that's what came to mind. Trial run, because it's not going to be successful, but they are going to take a lot of souls with them on the way out. Choice, choosing, consent, complacent, compliant, Christ-like. Who are they going to take? Well, let's play with those words in your mind. Are you afraid of making the choice, the hard choices, the hard decisions in relationships, family, work, business, life, etc.? Consent, does that mean anything to you? Are you complacent and compliant? Because that's what they're looking for. And are you considering and meditating on the concept of being Christ-like? Because if you're not, then what's the point? Micro and macro. Oh, pardon me. That was the error. I'm gonna stop the video. Okay. So as I said, with AI is supposed to serve you and be used as a utility or a tool. The same thing with entertainment. Entertainers are only supposed to entertain you. And in the synthetic hive mind now, once again, celebrities have become the the primal place of observation in terms of people in the synthetic hive mind and what they want to look like, who they want to become, how they want to act. That's why these major companies and corporations pay them so much money to advertise their products, because it actually works. So entertainers are supposed to entertain you. And now, as with American Gods, we have all of these demigods and all of these false prophets, et cetera, that the people have completely aligned themselves with. That's why I always say that people get the leaders they deserve. So the celebrities have become godlike in the Black community for sure. You want to get Black people to pay attention, put a celebrity's name in your headlines. That's social media 101. I wanted to do a video, let's see, called "Do We Really Understand WTF is Going On?" This is kind of like my video. This is my rendition of that, because the title is just too, you know what I'm saying? It's just too heavy. And I didn't want to like put it out there like that, but I really wanted to say that. Do we really understand WTF is going on? You can tell the difference between the people that know what's going on at this time and everyone else. There's a new operating system on the scene. The operating system, that basically governs the way the whole system reacts, responds. If a virus is downloaded, then the virus can take the whole system, out, hackable, et cetera, exposed. But hackers download viruses. So if a new operating system in human beings has been implemented, is it possible to download viruses with the new operating system? I'm just saying. Hearing a lot of conversations about chips and Elon Musk and Neuralink and the FDA, like it's all smoke and mirrors.